All right, so hear me out. So Casey walked out of Taco Bell and Mounted Rushmore's is back.
That is
That's
not your
Not your
slogan.
slogan, bitch.
Mount.
Yeah.
Welcome in to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, I mean always, he means always, she means always, they mean always, you mean always, an instant classic.
Danny Dunn! Hi, Jake.
We will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
What is going on, good
Yes.
people? I feel like that was the proper way to start the show.
It was.
I mean, there was nothing else I could say. Just
He wasn't going to do the proper intro, so I had to do an audible.
what is going on, good people? We got a little audio edition. This might be the most relaxed podcast I've done in quite some time. A little audio edition of the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. Gonna do a little audio only because Casey's ugly and don't want to turn on his camera. And obviously Adam being in a remote location, and Justin.
Feelings are hurt sometimes, you jerk.
Well,
you don't have feelings.
We should have put Ciara O'Malley on the show. I think that was the issue. But anyway.
Well, no, if the limited numbers we have right now, if you want them to plummet, put on Ciara O'Malley.
You couldn't afford him, okay?
You're right. Even if we got him for free, even if we got him for free, I'm still not getting my money's worth.
So tonight we're gonna talk about the whole Naomi Sasha situation or not situation, and then we're gonna give our women's Mount Rushmore. Finally. I've given it some thought, and I still don't know who's going to be on it. So there you go. But first off, let's start with Naomi and Sasha. I've been kind of looking into this situation. Oh, by the way, DJ here because y'all can't see us, so you can't. I'm not going to assume you know my my voice. DJ here, Casey. Well, he over there technically, but Casey over there, and Adam is as well.
I'm present.
Present.
Justin is on assignment as usual. It is $5 Tuesday. Oh wait.
No, he's not on assignment. He's not assignment. He is just absent.
Facts. But Adam, do you know more about the Naomi Sasha situation than I do? I don't know too much about it. I haven't really paid that much attention to it.
It's a work, brother. It's a work.
No, I probably know about as much as you. They were told Monday night. They were told what the main event was going to be. They both, I hate to say, go into business for themselves, but kind of that. Walked into Johnny Ace's office, set the belts down, and just split. Man, like other than that, whatever. Like WWE has put out like their speak into like what happened, but like it's been very, very generic, and I haven't listened to like see what Alvarez or Meltzer or Mike Johnson's of the world to see what they've said, if there's any insight. I would say I would look into Sean Ross. He's been kind of getting on my nerves lately, but that's another story. But yeah, like I said, like I probably know about as much as you do.
I mean, in terms of going into business for yourself or not being happy with the company, I can't say I can blame them if it's not a work. I know Casey thinks it's a work and of course we'll get to him about his thoughts on why it's a work. But I mean, you can't blame anybody for being upset with WWE and the way that creative is going / has went for them. And I even want to do a discussion at some point too, within the next couple of weeks about, does WWE think that everybody is replaceable? Because WWE's kind of gotten to that point where they can care less about, what stars they have. And two, they've gotten to the point where they're going to make money despite themselves.
I was going to say, let me answer the question for you right now on that. yes, that's exactly what they think.
And I think short answer. I feel like it's a yes too, but maybe something we can discuss on another show. But
True,
I mean,
true.
with the Naomi Sasha situation, if it's not a work, I wouldn't be surprised at them being upset. But I mean, where do you go to be happy at this point? Because I've heard that people are upset with AEW backstage. So where do you go? You go back to the Indies, I guess. Because I mean, where else do you go to be happy doing the thing that you love? I guess at this point is my true question. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not happy. I mean, literally, and I think we talked about this in the chat. I had mentioned I feel like WWE has so much potential if they would quit being so dumb, and they have so much potential if they would kind of just dumb it down a little bit, for lack of a better term, right? They could just literally just simplify it some, and I mean, WWE would be everything that I feel like maybe we would even want it to be if they weren't so micromanagey all the time, and so everything's got to be so scripted to a T, all the time. I think if they could lessen a little bit of the upper influence, it might help out a whole lot. But to teach their own, I suppose. But Casey, I know you had some thoughts on this that you had kind of shared in the chat.
It's a work, brother. I don't know 100%. I'm just going off of something that Jimmy Corderas said. If you guys don't, keep up with him, he does a little like reffing rant thing where he'll talk about a certain, topic. I usually see it on TikTok, but I think he does it on Instagram.
It's good stuff too.
Yeah, and I was going to say too, like, and also to give him proper respect, let's also note that he was one of the long withstanding refs that was on, I want to say the roster, but was with the company for a very, very long time. Back when you actually could acknowledge the ref's name, for, the Kyotas, the Jack Domes, Hepner, et cetera, et cetera. Now all the refs are, nameless, I shouldn't say faceless, but like nameless, tasteless, et cetera. They're just there. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel bad for the refs, just kind of a side tangent, because I feel bad for the refs because back in the day, and that wasn't even just WWF, like you knew the refs. I mean, it's no different than in football with the referees or the umpires in baseball. There were those main guys, the Ed Hockleys of the world, and Jim West and MLB. Like, these guys have names. They're part of the story and part of the formula for the match. And I thought Jimmy Corderas was a great ref. I mean, I would say in that top tier, did a lot of great matches. So I think he definitely has a lot of say and a lot of insight. And plus, unfortunately too, he was in the ring when Owen had his accident. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So rudely interrupted.
I was going to say, Casey, back to your thoughts.
No.
So anyway,
this motherfucker.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Eddie, I'm trying. No, he was.
We'll get to it.
Casey, go ahead, bro. Come on.
Are you sure? Are you? Anyway, make sure all these guys are mute. Okay. No, he was saying basically a lot of times when something like something like this happens, they'll use their real name. They would have used Trinity Fatu. They would have used Mercedes. Is it Martinez? No, no. What is?
It's something. It's something like that.
Something like that.
I thought it was something with a V.
Like Vasquez or something. I mean, either way.
Yeah. Either way, I feel like, and he said, he thinks that they would have used their real name in, press releases or whatever if it was like a shoot that they left, so I think it's, and it may be kind of a 50-50 thing, like 50% work, 50% shoot. Like they probably are upset with what's going on. I mean, Adam and I were talking about it in our private chat. They they have not shown respect to the women's tag team division since it started. Let's be completely honest with it. And I brought up the fact, and kind of going a little bit off topic, but I brought up the fact that all these wrestling fans, WWE fans, all they talk about is, oh well, Ring of Honor has 6-man tag team titles. Now AEW is getting 6-man tag team titles. Oh, when's WWE going to get 6-man tag team titles? And I'm like, they barely show enough respect to the normal Raw and SmackDown tag team titles, let alone the women's tag team titles. You want to add another title that they're not going to care about? How about we try to get some some respect behind a title?
I mean, they can't even do the mid card titles, right? They have the longest pay-per-views in the history of wrestling and still can't put on every title on the show.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm sure part of it is a shoot, and I'm sure part of it's a work. I don't, and even if they did leave, I mean it's it's Naomi and Sasha. They would get after the whatever no complete clause, because WWE will like put you in jail or whatever. They would still get work. You know what I mean? Like they would still get a ton of indie bookings. I'm sure AEW would be at their door. I'm sure Impact would be at their door. And I think that they are at the level where they could get good money for indie dates. Not like an Adam Shear, I think that's his name, who wanted like $30,000 for a booking. Like I could easily see, like, especially Sasha, because she is legitimately good. She's a really good wrestler, and she came from the indies. She worked her way up to the WWE. Again, nothing against Naomi or anyone else who wasn't as well known. And not to say that she was a name before she came to WWE, but there was a following for Sasha before she came. But I could see them easily both having no problem getting bookings. So that's not an issue. It's just, are they really upset enough with WWE that they really did leave, or is this just a story that has been blown up out of proportion?
Okay. Any other thoughts before we get into the Mount Rushmore?
And to kind of echo off, based piggyback what we were talking about earlier in the day too in the chat, in case you kind of just laid it out, for me, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Because I mean, the reason why I know a lot of times, like, people could probably jump to that it's possibly a work, aside from just the name thing, like the situation, like with Charlotte, where like, oh, she suffered a clavicle whatever injury in that match against Ronda. But we all know that, like, that's the out for her to go away for a little bit, because her and Andrade are going to get married. And the attack on Madcap Moss, he suffered some spinal injury from the attack from Corbin. But you see that little graph, the picture of the incident or the aftermath, and then they have the little text at the bottom. They did the same thing with this. Well, exactly. It's like the actual injury, I would say, but he ended up being fine. Whatever, though, that looked more legit than this phony afterbirth angle after a match. But anyway, I think they did that like obviously deliberately to get ahead of the story, to I guess to make it seem part of like oh, does this mean they're going to turn heel now because everybody knows it's a work, blah blah blah. But it could be a legit shoot that, because I mean I was telling Casey this in the chat earlier. I don't watch religiously, but I would at least have seen a clip or something. Like I could not tell you the last time they were even on TV. And I forgot that they were even the tag champs. I mean, Sasha and Bailey were the perfect foil, the perfect inaugural women's tag team champions. And they didn't seem like they were just thrown together. There's a history there. The four horsewomen, they had that great rivalry in NXT and with WWE, on the main roster, et cetera, et cetera. Her and Naomi just felt like thrown together. It was just like, okay, Sasha's going to elevate Naomi because of the name and whatnot, but they're hardly ever used. So that's why I'm saying like if we're gonna do this to the title, why have them? But you do have them, and even if it's not the greatest thing that you've seen on television, at least feature them, give them a squash match, something. I mean, because again, have Dana Brooke, tag with somebody that's random and just beat them. Just something. Again, it's not necessarily doing more for the title, but it's doing more than just not showing them at all. And DJ, that's such a great point. They've got 25 titles in that company, and yet not all of them can make it on a pay-per-view. Make it make sense. I don't get it. So I would understand their frustration if they did say, "Hey, Johnny, screw you if this is how it's going to be." But I honestly don't know what to think, nor do I have much stock to really even care, because that's just the state of affairs that we're in now. These guys are making a killing by even not being on TV, but at some point, yes, there would be that creative satisfaction of being able to show what you can do and whatnot. It's like, guys, I'm not getting paid necessarily to just go through airports. Like I want to be featured on TV. I want to show what I can do. So
yeah, I agree. Real quick, gonna bring in OnlyFans Jay. That's what he goes by. I don't know if he actually has an OnlyFans. He can feel free to promote that if
that indeed is your real name, sir.
But he's from the Third Perspective podcast. Jay, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, and you can hop into the conversation. We're talking about this Naomi Sasha Banks walkout situation going on in WWE right now, which and we were saying too that it seems like there's a lot of reason to be upset at WWE in a lot of ways if you're a talent.
Yeah, I agree with that. The creative aspect of those two is like not there anymore. And I agree with that. The fact that, hey, don't pay me just to go through no airport and just to be here. I want to be out there and I want to do what I can do. Now, frustratingly, WWE has, in the past couple of years, have gotten a rap for just not throwing you out there and you just not doing so it's a lot of talent that's in WWE that's not being utilized. But then they do have the talent, they shove it down your throat. AIE, Roman Reigns, but he's gotten a lot better. They finally, chipped the ice, the talent aspect from him. But as far as Sasha Banks and Naomi, they've been there for years as well. And, they have a niche of keep bringing up these old wrestlers back and nobody don't want to really see anymore. And a lot of times they think they have these people there, and they just shove them down your throat. Like Charlotte, for example, keep putting a belt on these people, and nobody don't really want to see, or because of the obvious reasons. The 16-time, her father is 16-time champion, and they try to make her a 16-time women's champion, which is passe. Don't want to keep seeing these recycled situations, the same storylines. The storyline's not really there for these cats that's in the wrestling world. That's why I like AEW when they let you do your own creative activity. Some of it might be yay, some of it might be nay. But at least they let you do your thing.
I was
At
gonna
least
say
you're gonna
too,
be on
Jay.
TV too.
I was gonna say too. I'm all with letting Charlotte become the 16-time women's champion, following her father's footsteps. But you got to do it right. Like she can't be throwing the title
they
back and forth with Sasha, and then she got 5 title reigns already. Right?
They did that in the beginning of her career.
Yeah.
That shit was just awful.
Yeah, and then the crazy part is you was talking about how they're not using the talent. I don't, and goes to the other point that you had sent me about Parker Bordeaux being the potential member of Judgment Day, and then he got released before he could even do it. I guess I guess Brock was thinking about leaving or something, so they didn't want his son there no more. But anyway, I just find that funny because it's like WWE got a show on about every day. You telling me you ain't got the room for the amount of talent you got?
And
they have the room for the talent. It's just they not utilizing like they supposed to, like properly. These people, they're not in the locker rooms just to be there. They just need to be out there to do the thing.
Well, and just to add, I mean, obviously I haven't been in the WWE locker room, so I don't know. But and Adam and I were kind of talking about this as well earlier, either earlier today or yesterday, where it's like, no, I don't think that, like, for example, I think a lot of times in AEW, guys have way too much creative control, where it's almost like the inmates running the asylum, which is not a good thing. We saw what happened with that in WCW. It doesn't work. You have to have control over your locker room, but at the same time, you can have them be in on the creative. Like, hey, okay, you don't like this. What do you want to do? What can we do? Let's brainstorm. Let's come up with an idea that we both like, that we both can agree on. Because you have to think, you have to appeal to a large audience. So a lot of these guys coming in with like these crazy ideas, yeah, it may work on the indies. It may work in a small VFW. It's not necessarily going to work in a big arena. It's not going to necessarily work, with a national crowd. So it's like, yeah, let's kind of brainstorm ideas. I think that's what WWE needs to do. And in addition, what we were saying earlier is like, you're the biggest wrestling company in the world. You are you have the most money, you have the most, everything. You should have the best creative team, you should have the best writers, and with that, there is no reason you should ever be saying, hey, we don't have anything for you. I can understand if you need to, somebody's not performing well enough, okay, fine. If they're not progressing the way you want them to, okay, fine. I get that. Like we were talking about it the other day with Brock Jr. there. I forgot his name. From what I heard, he just wasn't progressing the way that they wanted him to. So I can understand that, you know. But then again, there's people that they keep bringing back that aren't good.
Or also you got guys who are green as they can be, like Omos.
Yeah, well,
both of y'all bring my point up too. The fact that they got people that can't wrestle, they just pushing them. I'm like, oh, come on now, I got to do better than this.
Well, and that overall, to kind of play off of what me and Casey were talking about, and I said, like, here's the problem with WWE. You have this perception that they have the best talent in the world for that money can buy, but they feature the same 8 guys between the 2 brands, between Raw and SmackDown, and they just recycle them into the next the storyline, whether we want it or not. Or they have rematches out the ass that people are not clamoring for. And then I feel like on AEW, they never do proper rematches, ones that people I think would actually be into. And then on the flip side with AEW, they have this long list of talent, but somebody will get featured, which is great, but then you won't see them for months. And in some perspective, that's fine. But people have to remember too, there's no like true legit house show business right now. AEW is not running any house shows. WWE does a little bit, but it's not to the frequency that it was back in the day. And I'm not suggesting 300 days out of the year all the time, but you're never going to get better unless you get in front of a crowd. Now, whether that's in front of TV or in front of a live crowd of some semblance, that's the only way these guys are going to get better. And at the same time, the Vince that I remember from back in the day would at least take a chance on a couple of guys. I'm not saying you have to put them in the main event right away, but give them a little bit of shine just to see what you have. And then, the Parker Bordeaux. And anybody that actually knew him could probably put him over strong and give a legit reason why they should have featured him. But in their eyes, to what they want, he wasn't progressing. I wasn't particularly a fan of his, but I can't put enough to really say that he was bad. But it's just the little sample size on NXT that I seen of him was
Well,
so it's just
the character won't help him either. I felt like that character was terrible. But also, I was gonna say too, like we joke about AEW being all friends wrestling, but I feel like sometimes with the creative team, that's exactly what WWE can be. Like,
because
having friggin' Bruce and Johnny Ace anywhere near a wrestling show in 2022 just ain't gonna do it.
Oh yeah, and as funny as it is, and I know that he can. And again, he's called the Artful Dodger for a reason. Bruce, he at least has had the longevity with Vince dating back to the 80s. So I know that he has more of a grasp of what Vince wants. But for one, you don't need 25 writers. You need 2 or 3 guys that have an idea, and then you bounce it off of Vince. Because then you got way too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yep. Y'all want to hop into this women's? Oh, go ahead, Casey.
I was just gonna say the only thing that when I get around to watching AEW is AEW Dark, because I can see people that I actually know, and I like that they actually use AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation, whatever the hell it is now, to actually feature young talent and give like indie guys a chance to actually be seen. Now whether people actually watch Elevation and Dark because it's not as advertised, I feel like, but it's giving them a chance to be seen on a larger platform.
I mean, Casey does like those more tan wrestlers. So
this is true. I know, but and the thing with that is it's a great thing to have, whatever. But the hardcores, the already niche audience that is watching everything, AEW, they'll be like, such and such has this record because like Evolve, they've won X amount of matches on Dark and Elevation. I'm like, we're talking about what is on TV, what is on Dynamite, and or what's on Rampage, because I'm thinking of more of the casual watcher, which I was watching it more consistently. I've kind of veered off a little bit just because they've not really have interested me as much. But as much as AEW can frustrate me, they at least have way more interesting things to view than what's going on in WWE. There's, again, a little bit of a gray area. It's like there nobody will do anything obnoxiously stupid and phony in WWE, but it's just dull. It's just like there's no excitement anymore. And like even in the new generation of the mid 90s, that at least as hokey as some of the characters were, there was at least some liveliness to the product. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the business as a whole, but you could say that about anything. The business as a whole could be way, way better.
Yeah. So Jay, feel free to stay for the women's Mount Rushmore if you want. If you got 4 women in mind who you think were the most influential to wrestling, feel free, or you can think about it as we go through ours. I want to start with Casey. I want to see who Casey got first on his. I got to see. I got to see first. Chase.
Why
Well, you got to hear because you can't see them.
Yeah, I got to see her first.
Why you gotta see me first though? Why mine gotta go?
I just want to see who you're gonna put on yours first, though. I just want to see the first one, though, just the first one.
But why me? I'm just trying to figure out. I'm trying to.
He's still going through all his honorable mentions. Adam, who your first one?
Well, I'm gonna get
I didn't say I wasn't ready. I'm just saying, why was it me?
And shut up, man. Because it should have been it should have been you. So Casey, who you got? Who you got? Because it sounds like you stalling over there.
He didn't think of anything.
I actually want to see yours because you don't even have your list ready.
I mean, I still got 19 on the list. I'm just crossing them out as we go along, Okay, you want me to go first? You want me? Okay, okay.
I do.
You know what? I'm gonna start it out. I'm gonna start it out with the honorable.
You ain't got the list ready yet.
I'm gonna start it out with the honorable Mae Young, my girl.
That is not your slogan. Oh, sorry.
I mean, I feel like I feel like at one point in wrestling history, there were 2 women that you couldn't keep off of a wrestling Rushmore. But I think now that has at least turned into 1 because of Moolah's personal stuff.
I have no idea what you mean. Please elaborate.
So I think because of that, at least you got to put May on there. So I mean that's all I got. Just Mae Young. I mean y'all as Justin would say, y'all said everything I could say already, even though y'all ain't said nothing. Mae Young.
What else can you say about her? And I'm going to go through a 15-minute dissertation now.
On my Mount Rushmore is
the
Shawn
immortal.
Michaels, and what more can you say about Shawn Michaels?
the immortal Undertaker.
The immortal dead man.
The immortal dead man. I want that on a shirt. I want that today. Where that shirt design, Casey?
Speaking of Casey, who you got? Who you got on there? Who you got on there?
I mean, obviously, I got the immortal dead man. It makes
sense. He was a fine women's wrestler.
So My first, I got to go through my honorable mentions first. I'm surprised DJ didn't go through his honorable mentions because he
I
usually
tried to
has
cut it
75.
down this time. I tried to slim it down this time.
Okay,
Slim it.
so my honorable mentions. First of all, I got to put Alundra Blaze on there. Because she's helped
All
kind of
right.
start
Bad dosa.
revolutionizing women's
Bad
wrestling.
dosa.
And then I got to put
Deborah
the
Michelli.
greatest of all time, Santina Morella.
Somebody, all right. That'll do it. That'll do it right there. That'll do it. Go. Everything he
No.
says, everything. As Adam says, objection, hearsay. Everything
Objection
that he says,
hearsay.
relevance.
So,
I want to say relevance.
Can I go to my number one? Damn.
No, your credibility is lost.
Sustained.
Your
All
credibility is
right.
lost.
My numero uno on
What about your numero
the
quattro?
Rushmore of the ladies is Paige. Paige, some people call her. I
didn't know where you were going with that. I'm like, who the hell is Paige?
I gotta go with Paige. I think she, we always talk about the women's revolution, but I think she was one of the ones that really started to change what WWE was at the time. And I mean, you could say AJ Lee too, but there was something about Paige where she wasn't gonna be the girly girl. She wasn't gonna wear the pink. She wasn't gonna do the typical diva shit. But she was a good worker. She was gonna show that women can wrestle and don't have to, be objects. Especially
She shut that diva stuff
in
down.
what?
I said she shut that diva stuff down.
She did.
That she did. That she did.
So I gotta put her on there for that. And she got a movie about her life. Like, bruh.
She got a mobby.
Bruh, who else got that? Who else got that?
A Move.
I think that was a good one too, because I was struggling trying to find some like new era woman to put out here, because I was like, on one hand, you got your almost like your pioneers, but I mean, without that kind of revamp of women's wrestling, it felt like during that period of time, where would we be right now? So I think that's a good one. That's a good one. Adam, who you got first on the list?
Well, I'm going to get the boring one out of the way, and speaking of which, because I believe Jim Ross is involved about this woman, Mildred Burke. She was, that's fine. That's fine. But as you can see, I actually gave her proper respect and said her name right. I didn't go Mildred Bjorky like you did with however the hell you enunciated that. This man. But anyway, no, she was the first true female attraction in the States, way back in the day. And like, folks, Google her. She was a beast. Like, yes, like in a worked environment, whatever, though, she would have challenges for any man to get in the ring and try and beat her up. And she manhandled them. And with her legit shoot, records, like she retired undefeated as a professional. So it's like she the first, to me, true dominant woman in the biz. So I'm gonna get that out of the way, and then I'm gonna build from there. And I will tell you this. None of the modern day women I will put on there, only because, being that it's only been about 5, 6, 7 years that they've really started to take it seriously. I'm gonna let things progress before, we do we revisit this down the line. So just want to make that caveat.
I'm gonna tell you this. Better call my mama. All right, Jay. Who you got first on your women's Mount Rushmore? I'm wondering. I'm wondering here. Oh, we can't hear him. Where you go? Where you go? We gotta get him. We gotta get him the technical difficulties graphic. Where you go? I'm gonna try to unmute him and mute him and see if that worked. Did that work? It didn't work.
We got some technicals of the
Way to go, DJ.
I didn't do
Good
it.
job,
Let
you
me try
broke
to.
it.
What about now? Anything? Still nothing. Try to leave and come back. Maybe it'll work. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Casey broke it. Casey broke it. I feel like, but
I did.
that was
You,
one.
you bastard.
I mean, I won. I wonder what direction he gonna go with this. Let's see. See what we got. Oh,
Hello.
nothing. Still nothing.
Why you broke it, DJ?
What happened?
Doesn't this oddly sound familiar?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what
he admitted himself. He admitted himself on his end.
I had to come back, and it worked. But on my Mount Rushmore, my first pick would be the Fabulous Moolah. Reason being is because she became the first ever women's champion, and then she held that championship 25 consecutive years. It must have not been too many females back then, but this is in 1950. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, we hearing you. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good one. She was the first successful, really, I would say promoter, but yeah, she was really the first successful figure on the wrestling side of the business, where that spanned for 40 plus years in terms of actually, getting the women shots in the territories and this, that, and the other. She made Wendy Richter when they started doing the rock and wrestling thing in the 80s. So yeah, like to me, it's very hard to not put Moolah on any type of list, minus what we were talking about before.
Right. All personal things aside. Okay. Moving on. Moving on to the number 2. I'm gonna go with Trish Stratus, the Stratus faction. I think Trish set the stage for this whole next in line thing that we have now that we hate sometimes. She set the stage for women like Alexa Bliss to come into the business and be inspired by her to go from, I think she was a cheerleader before, to go into wrestling and take it seriously and become really one of the all-time greats when you think about it. Is really awe-inspiring considering the circumstances, especially back then. We talk about her and we talk about Lita, and what they did. I think Lita was more initially dedicated to the craft as opposed to Trish, but I think we saw really how Trish evolved into pretty much everything that I think WWE wanted as a women's wrestler, and even a little bit more, because WWE wasn't really looking for I think what they got out of Trish, and then I think Trish changed the game a little bit. So Trish Stratus is my next one. Casey,
Yeah.
who oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say too is I'm glad you highlighted that, because starting off, Trish was not very good. And really no fault of her own, but once that they realized that they were wanting her to get in the ring and see what she could do, she actually worked on the craft and got really, really good. And to me, this kind of gets overlooked a lot. Her and Lita closed Raw. That was a big damn deal especially back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah. I like it. Casey, who you got? Who you got next on your list? On your Rushy Mountain.
So, as we all know, DJ's a jerk, and she steals everything from everybody. Like, he stole my number 2, Trish Stratus. Jerk. That was mine. All the things he said repeated.
Shut up, man.
I mean,
Thank
you
you,
guys have
Justin.
already
That is
practically
not so
said.
slowly.
You guys have already practically said everything you can say about Trish. So, okay, let's go to Adam.
I am going to go to one Deborah Michelli, Medusa. I mean, like, she doesn't get the respect that she deserves because, like, even when they kind of brought it back in the mid '90s, whatever, but she was, head and shoulders, better than whether it been on WWF's roster, WCW's roster, and again, very limited, whatever. And they brought people from, like, New Japan, and stuff like that, whatever. But she was just head and shoulders better than anybody at the time, and really gave credibility that of what it could be. It just for some reason Vince just didn't see a lot of stock in it at the time, and like it was like the third iteration of it because they had it in the mid '80s, it went away, brought it back in the late '80s, it went away, and then brought back the women's title with Alundra Blaze, and she was a badass. And I remember watching her on Monday Nitro beating up Colonel Parker on Nitro on a pay-per-view. She was incredible. So gotta give love to old Medusa.
Okay. Jay, who you got?
I'm actually with my man there, Medusa, aka Alondra Blade,
Okay.
and the reason for that is
Yes.
because she had put the work in for some time, and infamously she threw the WWE title in the damn trash for crying out loud.
Ooh.
So who has the balls or the big clitoris to do some shit like that? So what I'm saying.
Figurative balls.
Like, right, yeah, there you go. Like she threw
Ovaries.
she got huge eggs, eggs, balls, and ovaries coming out when you throw the WWE title in the trash in WCW.
Justin, you have officially been replaced, sir.
For the people who just tuned in, ovaries and balls.
Like,
Miss Michelli, I just have a question for you. I heard recently on a show that you possibly have balls. Is this true?
Guys, I have no
Okay.
idea why we're not monetized.
Okay. So number 3 for me, I'm going with Gail Kim. I don't think she got the love she deserved. She was still good in WWE, but she didn't get the love she deserved. So she went ahead and she walked out, and she revolutionized Impact's now Knockouts division that has been one of the more consistent divisions, not only while she was a competitor, but also under her watch, backstage as well. So she has since retired. She has since been in the Hall of Fame. Probably deserves a WWE Hall of Fame nomination, at least a nomination, maybe not in it, but at least a nomination for what she's done, and inspired many. And Gail Kim was just so good, so smooth in the ring,
No botching.
believable too. No botching, believable
No
too.
botching.
So Gail Kim is my next one. Casey, who you got?
I got the one and
2
only.
tickets to paradise. Oh,
You son of a God. I hate you so much. Whoa.
Only one of them. Lita.
Lida.
Yeah, Lida. Her full name is Lida Kane. You get it? Because you get it? You guys get
That
it?
is not your slogan.
I mean, she came in. She there was something about her just from the beginning. You knew she was going to be a star. He debuted with what was his name? Shit. S.A.
Godfather?
Rio.
S.A. Rio. S.A.
Oh,
Rio.
Every
And
I know.
I feel like she, right from the beginning, I feel like she outshined him. You knew there was something about her. You knew there was something special. And then she teamed up with Team Extreme.
I mean, Casey, I gotta. I hope you put this in your notes. If not, I'm gonna add this in. She was the only female wrestler to ever have sex in the ring live on TV.
Listen, I was getting to that. I was getting to. I can't.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
real
not
wait.
Rushmore worthy, if nothing.
She did her version of the Swanton Bomb in the middle of the ring.
Anyway,
Hey,
gentlemen. Anyway, show some respect. She came in. She could hold her own with any woman on
I
the
think
roster.
Edge came in personally.
Dude, I hate you so much. I
Kitty
hate
gave
you.
her the spear.
I'm done with y'all. I'm done with y'all.
The excellence of execute. Okay.
I was gonna say something about she could hold her own with any of the women and any of the men, but y'all gonna say something sexual about it too.
I did nothing of the sort.
He was kind of a educator. Okay.
I hate
Yeah,
y'all.
he was education and
It was
you
Edge-O-matic.
Hey, you think you know me?
Adam, who's next on your list?
My head hurts.
And is it Edge?
It is, and it is Edge. We live on the air. I am still keeping it old school. Sherry Martel, and I know DJ. I think you put her on the manager's Rushmore, which is just as good. But like I don't think people realize how good of a legit worker she was in the ring as well. To me, she was she was like almost like the female Bobby Heenan, where she could take bumps, whatever and a lot of the boys would say too, whatever though, she was, as tough, if not tougher than a lot of the guys. Complete badass. I loved her with Harlem Heat in WCW. I bet just for some reason that just worked. And she has like the greatest nickname of all time, Scary Sherry. Yeah. So, but yeah, I gotta show love to Sherry.
Okay. Jay, who you got?
y'all probably heard of her. Y'all probably haven't heard of her, but she
Asuka.
is up there. Um, her name is Naomi Toyota.
Huh.
She-
Let me look.
Interesting, ain't it? Naomi Toyota. She from New Japan Wrestling.
Okay.
Never went. She never got an opportunity to wrestle WWE, but she has a lot of moves. She's very entertaining. She has look her up. She has a lot of moves in her arsenal. She did mixed tag team matches with male competitors. She works hard. She gives you 100% every time she goes out there in the ring. She never really got the recognition that she deserved. Um, she gets a lot of respect and appears have no backstage heat, none of that. Everything is just all natural about her, and as well as that, she accumulated 32 titles, and that's matches with males and females. So I place her number 2.
I like it.
Naomi Toyota.
All right. Are we in the home stretch? So last one for me. Last one for me. I gotta go with China. Um, I feel like
Yes.
I feel like she set the stage for women to be muscular and to kind of go after the men like she set that whole like equality as Rohit Raju would say. She did all that right like she was big, she was strong, she just felt like nobody else. And I mean, of course, they tried to duplicate it with Beth Phoenix. They've tried to do it a couple times, and I feel like Awesome Kong too was in a world of her own, in the way and how athletic she was, and how how big she
Speaking of
was.
Gail Kim,
Yeah. So, but I think China was the reason why Awesome Kong probably was the way she was. So I got to go with China on this one. Casey.
All right. So, I mean, what list would be complete without Claire Lynch?
You said who?
No, nobody. No. Okay. Wait, I mean,
You said
AJ
Cheryl
Styles.
Lynch?
AJ Styles knows her, so I thought we. Anyway, no, seriously. On a real note, I got Katie Vick.
oh my God,
No.
God.
Okay.
Throw his
No,
whole list away. Throw his whole list away.
You wouldn't be caught dead with Katie. Oh wait,
You said Katie Vick.
Listen,
it's
a good
it's
joke.
one of the worst, one of the worst, if not the worst segment in the history of wrestling television.
Oh, in 2002.
It's
Yep.
China. I'm gonna go with China.
And I would just like to point out, I hate myself that I know this.
I mean,
There was a legit funeral going on in the next room when that was happening.
I think the only reason I can't put Katie Vick on here is just because she no sold. I'm sorry.
My man was humping in the damn casket. that that
I
Adam,
mean, they tried to
please.
give her the Iggy, she didn't give it back.
Adam, please take
All,
this, please.
all right, Katie, action.
Why is she not moving?
Just pin her. Not like that.
She
Not
didn't.
Like,
She didn't answer the count of 10. All right, I'm
she
done.
did not kick out.
She did the
Didn't kick out.
JLB. like literally staring up into the lights. Oh, so just because this man just said Katie Vick, like I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and I'm
And
gonna
it's
say
funny because
Moolah and Mae Young. I'm putting them both on there. It's gonna be like Harvey Dent. They're gonna be one half Moolah and the other half May on that spot on the Rushmore.
Oh, okay.
And that's with hand included. So
That's the way to
oh
do
yeah, the hand.
it. Jay, who you got?
Yeah, my girl had a birth of a hand. Thing came out from the Adams family.
All right, Jay, who you got last on the list?
I have China. I have China because of all the contributions that she had in the WWE. WWE didn't do anything but no more than just shit on her at the end of her career. Well, she was still in her prime even too, so they didn't do anything but shit on her. course, we all know the story after that. Relationship with Triple H, uh, not putting her in the Hall of Fame except for through DX. It's a lot of shameful things that happened, during her career that could have been prevented, but WWE, of course, in the greatest times and the greatest moments, shit on the fans and shit on they workers too. It's messed up, but I put China number one. Uh, you know, being the first one to win the Intercontinental Champion. Uh, her low blow, her move was low blow all the time. So I liked her in number one though.
Okay. Okay. So real quick, because by my calculations, we have 5 people, and there's not enough room for 5 people on our Mount Rushmore collectively, because all these people got more than one vote. So China's on there automatically because she got times 3. So we down to Medusa, who got 2.5 technically because she was on the honorable mentions for Casey. You got Trish Stratus, Moolah, and May. So out of those 4, who we want to add in with China? What's the 3 we want to add in with China?
How did none of y'all pick Lita? What's wrong with y'all?
Because you said lidocaine.
Do we want to? Do we want to pull Moolah, because I feel like Adam's actual 4th was May, but
you would be correct.
So I mean, if by that logic, then it would be May, Trish, Medusa, and China as our collective.
What about Lita?
Lita
and not Lita.
Lita can join with Katie.
On that note, as always, hope you guys enjoyed the podcast tonight. Had a lot of fun. Appreciate OnlyFans Jay for coming by from the Third Perspective Podcast. Jay, where can they find you if they want to hear you again? And they like, we can't get enough of this Jay. We got to figure out what we can listen to this man every single week, even multiple times a week.
And how much is the OnlyFans? Ask him.
So, Third Perspective Podcast, you can hear us twice a week, or you can download us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Facebook. We're everywhere. Wherever you can get your podcast, we're TP3 Podcast. It's featuring with me, OnlyFans Jay, Radical Real, and Rabbit.
Okay.
R.I.B. Rabbit. So yeah, that's that's our podcast.
Okay. Yeah, make sure y'all check them out. Third Perspective Podcast. Every once in a while we make some guest appearances over there. You know how that go, Jay. But as always, hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to leave your women's Mount Rushmore in the comments or wherever you want to leave them. If you want to DM Casey and be like, Casey, you suck, but here's my women's Mount Rushmore, be sure to do that. If you want to DM and be like, Justin, where was you at? Here's my women's Mount Rushmore. Feel free to do that too.
If you want to send me your OnlyFans links, I'll take that too.
and check out Justin's podcast called we're doing a video tonight.
Yes,
you mean Justin's podcast called I'm just going to download the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast video and put it on my channel?
Yes, that's that. Let's be real. But anyway, as always, hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until